Daily Wire partnered.
She's
The Daily Wire parted ways with Candace Owens, and part of it was things that she was saying that we felt were strongly anti-Semitic, and she was doing it in such a way that it was kind of hard to pin down. So I was trying to show where these things happen.
Andrew actually rose to the level of defamation when he started claiming that I had actually said things that I had never said. I mean, he flagrantly lies, and I showed that on my platform when he pretended that I did an episode suggesting that Adolf Hitler burning books was a good thing. I wasn't even speaking about Adolf Hitler. It's a nonsense to think that I would do that on my platform. And it's a trick also.
Okay, so apparently Andrew Clavin, like many others, pointed out that she's doing outrageously messed up things, such as...
Do you know which books the Nazis were burning? I was shocked that I never learned throughout that schooling that the brown shirts, you know, the students...
First books they burned were LGBTQ advocacy books. So they burned books on homosexuality, on transgender ideology, stuff like that.
Student activists that went around burning a bunch of books were burning books that they deemed to be Marxist and that they deemed to be overtly sexual.
Yes, the Nazis did not like other political views. That is correct.
The brown shirts were student activists who went around burning a bunch of books.
Yeah.
The brown shirts were very famously known not as regular student activists, but as the Nazi paramilitary organization, the Sturmabteilung.
The Storm Division.
Sturmabteilung, the violent paramilitary trying to form a violent militant movement within Germany for the Nazi party, who also went around and conducted several very, very notorious, very well-known acts, killing people, destroying all kinds of property, destroying Jewish shops, burning books, and so on. She just seriously sat there and described these people, the brown shirts, as, you know, the student activists who went around burning books. You know, student activists. Let's read what Oxford Reference says here. Member of an early Nazi paramilitary organization, the Sturmabteilung, or SA, Assault Division, the brown shirts recruited from various rough elements of society were founded by Adolf Hitler in Munich in 1921, fitted out in brown uniforms reminiscent of Mussolini's black shirts. They figured prominently in organized marches and rallies. Their violent intimidation of political opponents and of Jews played a key role in Hitler's rise to power. Does it so far sound like these were just a bunch of
student activists?
Student activists? No, it doesn't, right? From 1931...
Well, I mean, technically, they had a lot of students, and they're activists, so...
From 1931, the SA was led by a radical anti-capitalist Ernst Röhm. By 1933, it numbered some 2 million, double the size of the army, which was hostile to them. Röhm's ambition was that the SA should achieve parity with the army and the Nazi party and serve as the vehicle for a Nazi revolution in state and society. For Hitler, the main consideration was to ensure the loyalty to his regime of the German establishment and in particular of the German officer corps. Consequently, he had more than 70 members of the SA, including Röhm, summarily executed by the SS in the Night of the Long Knives, after which the revolutionary period of Nazism may be said to have ended. This is an instance where I would say that this is incompetence, ignorance, more than just her vile, dishonest aspect. Because she doesn't know much. She's actually quite ignorant. She doesn't know very much. She learns things from social media.
She learns things from...
Yeah. She learns things from groypers and alt-right neo-Nazi activists and provocateurs. So, look. When somebody is ignorant and stupid, and they'll say something retarded like this, like Candace Owens, it is like it is still racist. They don't just believe this because they've been misinformed. They believe this because they've deliberately looked at pro-Nazi fucking talking points, didn't bother to do any research because it confirms their own bias. So they only listen to these neo-Nazi fucking talking points and then they spew this fucking garbage. So no. She's a massive, massive anti-Semite, Jew-hating fucking bitch.
Groypers.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
And I'm not sure how in the world she got that whole idea that these were just regular student activists. It's not just deceptive, it's stupid.
What are your thoughts on nicotine pouches? Do you still take your mints? Would you say they're on the same level?
The problem with the nicotine pouches is you put them over your gums. And if you're putting them over your gums for a long period of time, it's going to cause gum recession because nicotine is a vasoconstrictor. So it cuts off blood flow to the part of your mouth that you're, putting the nicotine patch. And if you're taking nicotine through the mouth, it's entirely dependent on the dosage. So I don't know what dose those nicotine pouches are. I don't know if they're like 2 milligrams, 4 milligrams, 8 milligrams, or whatever, but you're going to get the same effect from taking lozenges. And yeah, I still take my lozenges. Thanks for the donation, Swole MF.
It's just stupid. It's ignorant.
And she's acting like they're good guys because among the things they're burning, hey, they're burning Marxist stuff. Yeah, they're burning anything that's not in line with the Nazi party.
Yes.
That was their solution. Here's the Nazi party. This stuff disagrees with it. Let's go burn it all. She's like, but look at the great thing. Look at the things they were burning. What a great job, guys. These great student activists who put Hitler in power.
Yeah, but the second aspect of it is also that she actually distributes this false pro-Nazi apologist propaganda that the books they were burning were just books that were morally reprehensible. You know, a bunch of Marxist stuff and overly sexual stuff. That is not what happened. We have endless lists and names of books that were actually burned. Lots of different books on medicine, on art, whatever it is, all across the board were burned. And as said, Jewish books, so books from Jewish authors, were categorically considered for burning and mostly burned. This has nothing to do with just being repulsed by the Marxist and sexual content.
Just think about what she's saying. Oh, did you know the Nazis only burned books that were communist and sexual? Like, it wasn't that bad. This is a fucking free speech advocate. So she claims. Oh, I'm in support of free speech, the free marketplace of ideas. Anybody should be able to say whatever they want. Oh, I'm actually in support of the Nazi book burning.
I'm getting paid to shit RN.
That's pretty dope, non-wib. Enjoy your shit. Thanks for the donation.
And then burning them. This is a well-known neo-Nazi, a Nazi apologist propaganda point, which she's repeating here. And to people who are not aware of it, this may sound like, quite innocent, and she's making a moral point here and saying that things weren't actually that bad. And she's also saying that she never really learned this in school. Well, she's the ignorant one. I did learn this in school. I also did learn this later on myself. Lots of people out there do learn this. And they know very well that this is not what happened in Nazi Germany. She's presenting Nazi lies, Nazi apologia. That's what she's doing.
To be Marxist and that they deemed to be overtly sexual. And one of the first and most notorious book burnings was the student-led destruction of the library at the Institute for Sexual Research. That library was founded by a man named Magnus.
Yes. Look at all the other things they burned, by the way. If you want some basic information on things that happened during the Holocaust and during Nazi times, just look at the Holocaust Encyclopedia, United States Holocaust Memorial Museum. It will tell you the actual details with the receipts and the names of everything that actually happened. Here's an actual article on the book burnings. Jewish authors numbered among the writers whose works were burned, among them some of the most famous contemporary writers of the day, such as Franz Werfel, Max Brod, Stefan Zweig. Among the authors whose book students' leaders burned that night were well-known socialists such as Bertolt Brecht, August Bebel, the founder of the concept of communism, Karl Marx, Trickle Bourgeois, and so on. Lots of these people, lots of these books were burned. It wasn't just about sexuality. And the movement wasn't just a student activist group. It was literally part of the paramilitary with the inclusion of students. That's it. What a
platform. And it's a trick also. It's meant to make people feel emotional. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that she's supporting Adolf Hitler. And I thought it was nasty business. I thought it was extremely nasty business. And, you know, for me, Pierre, it's important for me to state,
I'm not supporting Hitler, you know, I'm just saying that, you know, this thing that he's vilified for was actually not bad because he was actually totally good. But yeah, I'm totally not supporting it. I'm not a fan of Hitler, but
Jordan Peterson does the same thing. In a few of his speeches, he literally said, "You have to admire Hitler." Like, fucking crazy.
Yeah, I have to say, in that clip that she's referring to, it sounded like she's saying, "Hey, these Nazis aren't as bad as their reputation. They were doing some really good stuff, and we've all been manipulated by the education system into thinking they were really, really bad. Yeah, they may have done some bad things, but they were doing some great."
And this just into CP24, pop star and actor Justin Timberlake has been arrested and detained in the Hamptons. Police have confirmed this now to CTV News. Now, Sag Harbor police did not reveal what he was arrested for, stating only that he would likely appear in court later today and that a news release is being drafted. The Associated Press, meantime, is citing a law enforcement official saying that Timberlake is accused of driving while intoxicated.
So recently, iDubbbz went on the Cold Ones podcast to reconnect with his old friends Max Mofo and Anything for Views. But turns out people did not like it at all. If you look at the comment section on this video, everybody is basically just dunking on iDubbbz. It's so sweet of you two to invite your lesbian aunt on the show. She didn't contribute much, but she seemed to enjoy watching you two have fun nonetheless. Bro looks like
she does support Hitler though.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, Candace Owens is a fucking Nazi. I genuinely hate her. Like, she's an absolute fucking moron, and she's one of those idiots who thinks she's always right about everything. Like, that's the most annoying kind of retard. The retard who you're like, no, that's not how that works, and they're like, no, I know, this is how it works, and then they break everything. I fucking hate those assholes. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
he's actually banned from having fun. Does iDubbbz even know that he's there? You guys are lucky he could fit you in between his wife's tattoo appointments. This is a reference to iDubbbz missing Max Mofo's wedding because allegedly Anissa had some tattoo appointments. Okay,
Wow.
so this all ties into the drama we've been covering in the past week. I made 2 videos on it. Basically, Anissa Jomha, iDubbbz's wife, started beefing with the commentary community, saying that we've all never worked a real job, you know, says the OnlyFans girl, by the way, calling us all losers, saying that we're going broke, saying we need her to stay relevant. She even pretended it's all part of her 1000 IQ plan to trick everyone, but she just ended up embarrassing herself. But anyways, they have both responded on their extreme...
See if she has any new content up on her OnlyFans. Couldn't find any pictures of her asshole. Let me see. Anissa Joma OnlyFans. Her fake boobs are just... Ugh, just why? Can't find any butthole pics. Yeah, I can't find any butthole pics.
Family hit podcast. She ruined my career. This is apparently episode 35, and it's actually just sad to witness the amount of copium from this couple.
Specifically, the comments about that.
Yeah.
We should emphasize the negative reaction.
I sent you a picture in DMs on Instagram under the name Bernia. I would like your reaction to this text conversation.
Let's see. You didn't send me any photos or anything. So you're gonna have to resend that. Thanks for the donation though, Lucio.
To me in that video.
The overwhelmingly negative reaction to seeing Ian's mullet.
And then next, we're going to talk about
The overly negative reaction.
to Anissa
Yeah.
raging.
Yeah.
Okay, so as he said, there's two segments to this, starting with the iDubbbz comment section and people not liking him. Basically, everyone is just disappointed at iDubbbz's transformation. He is less funny, less energetic, puts lesser effort into his content. Everything is just worse objectively. Even stats-wise, he's falling off a cliff. As a human, his character is degrading, and, you know, people are just sad because they really liked him and, you know, they subscribe to his videos. And here is them basically trying to explain why people are mad, and obviously they get it completely wrong.
You really want to...
It really fucking weirds me out that somebody like iDubbbz, who came off as pretty based, would let some chick like run his life like this. I mean, he's not the most sexy man on the planet or anything, but he's iDubbbz. He can get like any fucking pussy he wants, basically. There's tons of fucking e-girls, YouTube chicks, fans that'll fuck him. Why is he letting some chick cuck him and like just fucking run his life? It makes no sense. There's no way she's like that good at doing like ass to mouth or something that it would be worth it.
Stay true to like your beliefs and who you are, and you've always been that way. And I think that like comments were coming in and saying these things, and you felt like you don't know what's right for my channel. You don't know what's right for me. And that's just you, period. Like, if I tell you to do something, you're going to be like, you don't know what's good for me. I'm going to do the opposite thing.
Is that a grown adult? So you're basically saying that he's like a child and responding like an immature brat. So let me get this straight. If your audience is giving you feedback, here's what you should actually do. You should listen to it, take it into account, you know, go through all of your filters and, you know, assess, is it bad advice or good advice? And if it's bad advice, sure, you can ignore it. Oftentimes, you know, viewers do get things wrong because they don't have the full picture. But in this case, it wasn't like a small 1% of your audience telling you to do something. This was an overwhelming majority of people consistently telling you that you've been changing for the worse, and they can see it on camera. And they were saying that this is going to ruin your career, and it seems like they were right. So responding like, you know, I'm going to do the opposite of whatever you think is just like a teenager having a temper tantrum, except you're actually full-grown adults. Anyways, this next part, they talk about iDubbbz basically saying that all his old viewers are, you know, incel basement dwellers and racist, and they just wanted people to say the N-word, and now that I stopped saying it, they're mad. When in reality, the 7 million subscribers you had were actually just people who liked funny content, people who liked high-effort content, and stuff like that.
It seemed like there were a lot of people who...
Personally, I only watched him because he said the N-word, because only the N-word is funny. If you don't call somebody the N-word, it's just not funny.
I sent a link, Reddit thread. I want feedback on my rhetoric. I use similar points in voice debates with hardcarnists in front of an audience, Earl or not.
I agree that that's not my position. My claim is... Wait, I'm not arguing that killing animals is moral. What I'm saying is that it's disingenuous to say human lives have the same value because they don't. Agree that's not my position. My claim is that I am unconvinced that there is any moral relevant difference that justifies breeding and exploiting. So what is the problem with the claim that there is a significant enough difference in cognitive emotional ability understanding that? Problem with that claim is that it's unsubstantiated. The same could be said about similar claim granting certain rights to ethnicity. What do you... Okay, so this is stupid. I don't know why you'd say it's unsubstantiated that there's a cognitive difference between humans and animals that would justify killing animals. That's just an opinion. That's not a fact that you can substantiate. So you would just run like a name the trait reductio and say, okay, so would you be okay with killing human beings with a similar cognitive level as like a chicken? I don't see your claim against it being substantiated either. Do we really need... Okay, so that's stupid. Yeah, just learn how to argue. Thanks for the donation, Lucio.
Are still to this day feeling bad that you gave them in some sort of indication or idea that they should feel bad for enjoying the content that you are disavowing, even though their intention when watching it and enjoying it, they feel wasn't bad. They were just enjoying a funny YouTube video, and I think that maybe they felt that you were making them feel bad for it.
No, I think, to be honest, it's just like, in my mind, it's just like really bad communication on my part, because I started like doing things that I would say are like out of character for me, like me just going on the Anthony Padilla podcast. There was a line in there that sounded like really harsh, and it was like, yeah, when the basement dwelling person like comes out and sees their favorite YouTuber, they say a slur or something.
Because you were specifically talking about the fans that had come up to you and said a slur to you in public.
Yeah.
They ended up biting the bullet that killing humans with a pig's cognition would be acceptable under their moral framework. Thank you for the feedback. Have a nice day.
Okay, well, that's retarded. By the way, I wouldn't bother with arguing with people on fucking Reddit. It'll just get you nowhere. Do some real activism where you make videos reacting to somebody, live debates. You can either set up debates through like Discord or Zoom, or like debate people on the street and record it. Arguing with people on fucking Reddit is a waste of fucking time, and it's stupid. Thanks for the donation though, Lucio. Yeah, so iDubbbz used to say nigger faggot all the time. That was his catchphrase. And then when fucking kids would come up to him and say, hey, iDubbbz, nigger faggot, like, he was like, you said the no word! Like, what do you expect? Holy shit, what an idiot.
That's who you're specifically talking about. So when you say I was attracting basement dwellers, it makes a blanket statement that everyone who watches your stuff is a blanket or is a basement dweller, rather than you are attracting a lot of people, but with some of the stuff that you were doing, especially because there was satire and other things, you were also beaconing out to the basement dweller who comes out of their room once every month.
Okay, I just hate this argument because there's always going to be bad people watching you. I'm sure Mr. Beast has 100 million people watching him. There's like 50 murderers watching him, serial rapists or whatever the heck, horrible people that are watching him, some like bombers in there or whatever. And it's not Mr. Beast's fault that they are in the audience, okay? That's just the consequences of having a large audience. So saying that iDubbbz was signaling to these people or whatever, sure, you know, you can make an argument because, you know, he was saying all these things, this could lead to that audience or whatever, but everyone gets it anyways. I'm sure one of you watching is a horrible person, all right? If there's 100,000 or a million or whoever amount of people are watching, there's somebody bad in there, okay? So there was always a minority. There was always a small portion of the audience. Majority of people knew exactly what he was doing. He was just giving the bullies a taste of their own medicine with his like content comps and stuff. Now I gotta give them props for at least acknowledging that iDubbbz worded it in a manner where he just wanted nothing to do with his old audience, and that's why people were mad at him. But I do think there's a little bit of backtracking going on here. This is just my opinion, but I think iDubbbz does actually think his old audience sucks, and he's only saying this now because of all the backlash, because he kind of made like 3 or 4 videos kind of doubling down over and over and over again, and basically making it very clear that, hey guys, I have changed for the better. You
know what? He looks like Kristen Stewart in that fucking movie. He has like the same hair. What's that movie? Love Lies Bleeding? Yeah. Yeah, iDubbbz literally looks like Kristen Stewart. He has the same fucking hair right now. That's fucking hilarious.
for the better. You guys are still, you know, little monsters, little goblins who like all of that previous harmful, hateful content. None of us like viewers actually thought that was bad content. I was an avid viewer of the Content Cops. I thought it was hilarious. I watched it multiple times because it was high effort content. It was funny. It was, you know, you scripted out some skits. It was like nothing we've ever seen before. What you basically did over the course of a couple months was essentially imply that all 7 million of your subscribers are bad people for liking your content, that they're racist, and, you know, you changed your content, but, you know, your viewers didn't change. Like, look, I had character growth. I'm better than you. Now, you are still, like, in your edgy teenage phase, but I am now a grown adult here, you know? And there was a portion of people who always made that argument of, you know, people only liked him for the slurs, which is the most ridiculous things ever. I remember watching those videos, and I was like, why is this guy...
Okay. Throughout all the years, I mean, have I really ever had any indicators of being on steroids? Never gotten gyno. I got nice fresh nipples, bro. I never had to get fucking gyno surgery or anything like that. I have really bad acne. I don't get overly fucking huge and small because, you know...
Able to neutralize react and thoughts.
When I train people, I make sure to take measurements, and then we go by that more than the scale. The scale can with your brain. There's a lot of different variables that may affect the number on the scale, like how much did you eat that day, did you take a shit, how much water are you holding. The tape measure doesn't really lie. I would take all the clients' measurements at least once a week, and then we can start seeing the progress, and we go by that. It gives them a better understanding of them accomplishing their real goals. They just want to look good. When I train,
I don't know if I'd say if measurements are more accurate, but it's usually better to take several measurements. So that would be body weight and you know, waist measurements, arm measurements, shit like that. You can also do like skin fold tests. That reduces like the risk of error. So yeah, the issue with using a scale is that you could be holding water that day. Stress can affect your body weight because of like water retention, whether or not you take a shit, a piss, when you're weighing yourself. That all has an effect on the scale, and you could be literally losing pounds of fat, but the scale won't move. That's less likely to happen with things like body measurements, so like if you're measuring somebody's waist. But again, there's, you know, ways where that can go wrong too. You can like suck in your stomach when you're getting measured, and then that could throw off the measurement. How tightly you wrap the tape. Exactly where you put the tape to measure. That can all change, and that can affect that sort of measurement. So there's upsides and downsides to using different measuring techniques, so it's usually better to just use multiple measuring techniques to track progress. But yeah, he's mostly right there. Thanks for the donation, Abel.
When these guys come off cycle, they lose a lot of the size, obviously, you know what I mean? So my size has always been pretty constant. I know I did that big ass bulk a couple years ago. But look at when I had to shred, because I got kind of fat during that bulk. I had to shred all the fucking fat to get off. Dude, I lost most of the muscle. When these guys on gear, they shred, dude, they maintain all the muscle because they're on fucking steroids. They don't lose the muscles fast. So
have you guys seen that video with like the surfer guy talking to the news about surfing? And it's like the most stereotypical voice and speech patterns that you would expect of that exact guy. Like that's how I feel when I watch that.
16? Who?
I'm 16.
You are?
I'm 16, yeah.
W. I don't care.
Peg's rating the
I can't be
fridge.
friends with 16-year-olds. That's what you guys are saying.
So to be clear, there is no doubt that these women are underage. The question is whether or not these guys knew.
Jessica!
Yeah, Jessica.
And the answer is they knew and they liked it. According to footage that was surfacing from months ago, these guys were made aware of the fact that these girls were underage. Multiple people came up to them like, yo, these girls look really young. And they're like, shut up.
Come
What
on.
am I watching?
You're watching kickers get involved with 16-year-olds.
Quavius Cumberdale donated $2. This is anti-gambling PSA. Gambling bad, okay?
21 fucking again, man! A fucking again, man!
I got a heart attack coming on. Oh. Oh, come on, baby. Mark's right there. Wake up! Come on. 140, baby. Come on, bro. Come on, you got it in you. No. Come on.
Look at his pants. He lost the time. Then we'll see you tomorrow.
Dude, nice hit, man. I've been watching you for a while. You haven't hit shit yet. Let's go. Come on. Come on, sir. This is it. Come on, pal. Bagged again. Ooh. Hey. You did it. That's the one I was talking about, dude. Nice. I got the documentary. Hey, my name's Johnny. Full documentary strung out on the... Nice.
$5,000, one spin of the wheel. Now, a red, white, and blue 7 is $2.5 million. Let's do this for America. The red, white, and blue. Deep breath. Check your pulse. One spin, $5,000. What's gonna happen? Let's go.
You're gonna lose?
Blank, blank, blank. Nothing. I swore. But that's $5,000 we just lost. Oh well. It makes for good television.
Dude, how stupid can you be? Put $5,000 into a slot machine for one play. What do you think is going to happen? These people are retarded.
This is where he finds out.
Hey, my God. Here, put your number here, because I'm a little lit. What the fuck?
Perfect.
Hey!
They're both on.
I said, don't do it on camera.
They were both on.
Durko. Yuli.
The legal age of consent in Florida is 18 minimum.
Oh.
Simp IQ.
5? I said when. She said December 1st.
Dude, it's so weird when I see people's birth dates and it says like 2007. Because like, that's when the PS3 came out. I'm like, I'm just thinking like I was a kid, you know, teenager when the PS3 came out. These people weren't even fucking born yet. They never experienced like the fucking Sega Genesis, the N64, PlayStation 2, like even the fucking PS3. And they're 16. It's so weird when I see people's birth dates.
Go ask her birthday later and see if it's the same birthday.
Okay, good.
I'm not doing this for content. John.
No, because I'm used to Canada. In Canada, you can go to 17, 16. I've never done it, but you can do it. Like, no.
This guy's in his 30s.
What?
This guy's in his 30s, bro.
Hey, bro, have geography class.
Okay, don't say that on stream. what time did you wait? What time's your geography? Do you have to leave?
Yes.
What time do you have geography class?
Like 7 in the morning.
I've done geography. I got you. I can do it for you. Send me the Quizlet. I got you, baby. Stay the night.
You'll do my homework.
I got you, baby.
I'll be your pastor. Oh, this line is telling me you don't like to swallow, but this line.
You know, it's funny how people freak out about this shit. Even before all this fucking online influencer bullshit where girls are like trying to hook up with like PewDiePie, basically. Yeah, chicks like this were fucking going after dudes who are way older, who are like 25, 30. I remember some chick in my math class in grade 9. She was 14. She was dating a dude who was in fucking university who was 21. Like that happens all the fucking time.
You know, I think there was a psychic on Fresh and Fit that day that I went.
They're saying kiss. Let's go.
No.
Let's do a quick one.
I have to get.
Come on, bro. F with me, bro. Let's.
No. What the f?
Hi, Natty. Imagine what you're doing.
Guys, so if you guys don't know, Natalie's 16 and I can show your ID. Under 21 until 12/28/2027. That means she was born 2006.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's really fucking gross how these dudes are trying to hook up with 16-year-olds. That's just really, really gross.
Oh my God.
And then they DM'd the dad. And the dad was like, that's my daughter. She's 16.
Yep, that's right. Liquor up a girl who's 16. Commit felonies on camera. Make it easier for the police to lock you up.
Come on. No, they're nice. They're good girls.
Go ahead. No, they're not.
I like them.
How old are they?
How old are they?
No, go ahead.
Relax. Chill out.
Ask that question. They're 22.
Mike, why are you hanging out? $3 tips. Kyle? Bro, check her ID. I went to high school with her. She's 17.
The fuck?
Ban that snitch.
You can check my ID.
No. I'll take the ID after.
Okay. L.
Hey, W by.
Good afternoon, VG. I hope that you are doing great today. So, I just love how you started a stream right after I clocked into work, so now I know that this will be an easy and smooth shift thanks to yours truly. Smile. Do you still plan on an evening stream tonight? Just curious.
Yeah, I'm gonna stream later as well, like around 8 or 9. Thanks for the donation, Ben.
Myron gave me consent to hang out with her. Yeah, at first he was like, absolutely not. Then he kind of realized I wasn't a douchebag. Bro's 40 f***ing with 19-year-olds. No. I'm in my mid-30s and they're 18.
There you go.
You just won $300.
Years old and letting these 19-year-old girls you?
Shut the fuck up!
You're 16.
Au revoir.
Let me see your ID.
I don't have it on me. Ray has it.
You don't have it. You don't have it on you.
Ray has it.
Great answer. That's all I needed to hear.
Like he'll Mike, the fucking 30-year-old person that's outside of the teenager stuff.
You know, it's really weird seeing some of the shit, because I can see how so many fucking young kids who are like the same age as these girls, you know, like 16, get funneled into these retarded red pill spaces. Because these same dumb fucking chicks who are like drinking alcohol and getting fucked by like these fucking twink, creepy 35-year-old weirdos, they're not fucking the 16-year-old kids that they're actually going to school with, who are like, you know, not fucking dipshits. So you've got these 16-year-old dudes who aren't getting any fucking pussy, who are normal, you know, they're just living life, doing school, whatever. And then the girls they want to fuck are going out with these like 35-year-old fucking gross weirdos who are drugging them up and fucking raping them, basically. So, like, a lot of them have to be seeing some of this shit, and then they see like Zerka and crap, then they get funneled into Fresh and Fit, and then they become these fucking loser dipshits.
That's all. How old do you think I am? Mike, I'm just looking out for you. We don't like teenage girls. I do. So leave.
Caskets, yo! Yo! Yo!
Let's keep watching.
I'm saying, yo, you're not giving me any answers.
Let's keep watching.
I love them. So get the f*** out of here. I love them. So go leave.
Hey, yo. Hey.
There you go. Look at the dad. Is Yuli your daughter? Yes, she is. Is she underage? What the hell? Yes, she's 16.
I want to like sensually kiss you. This is 2 nights in a row she's gotten me drunk. She's very creepy. She's a p***.
Calling me creepy?
You're
Like 6 footers?
You look like you'd be like on the back of like a milk carton, and I want to put you there.
Listen, I don't know if he's gonna be permanently banned, so I don't even want to say that. I don't know. This is more what I've been saying. I think a lot of these red pill dudes want underage girls. That's what I believe. I think the reason why they keep yarping on, like a dude who obsesses with a girl being 18 or 19 is probably not going to care if she's 16, 15, 14. You know, to them, there's not a difference other than they can go to jail. So am I surprised? No. Why would you harp so hard on a girl being 18, 19 if you didn't care? Look, you don't care if she's 16. Be honest. You're going to say it socially, but it doesn't make sense. Because at the end of the day, the mindset of an 18, 19-year-old is probably going to be very close to the mindset of a 16, 17-year-old, 15-year-old. It's not going to be that much difference. Pretending otherwise is a cat. So you in your mid, late 30s trying to talk to these, like, they the same shit, but you going for it for that reason. That's why when you found out she was 16, you didn't go like, yo, get this out of here. What do you say? Well, you know, in Canada, bro.
I'll put Canada into this.
What 30-year-olds do I know in Canada who are trying to holler at 16-year-olds? If it might be, like, you guys are so weird.
You're fucking dealing with a minor.
You guys are weirdos.
That's weirdo. That's weirdo shit.
It's not abnormal that these guys want to go for these girls because, like, they're the most malleable and the most influential. Like, you see teenagers, they're retards.
Yeah.
They just are. You got nothing to talk to them about. But the good thing is they are fresh, right? And they're easily, like, malleable to whatever you want them to be. So these guys are just weirdos. That's what it comes down to. But do I have huge thoughts about this? No. This is what I expect from that degenerate platform and the degenerates that are on it. And you know what's crazy? Zerka's, like, on a bunch of different platforms, and every time he goes on something, it gets banned. I always said that dude was radioactive to his own career.
Common denominator.
Charismatic, but an idiot who basically gets in his own way with drugs and stupid behavior. And I see it all the time. So, you know, this is more of the same. I'm not surprised that this happened.
So what?
Well, what do you mean, so what?
So what? What's the count now? YouTube?
Twitch?
People get crazy about Gaza while there is a Holocaust in North Korea since 70 years. In the 50s, Kim Il-sung, who was the grandfather of Kim Jong-un, started to build the first camps for political
Hitler
prisoners.
had his concentration camps. Stalin.
Yeah, they've had concentration camps for quite a while. I don't think it's technically a Holocaust, though, because they're just killing political prisoners. But, yeah, it's fucked. Thanks for the donation, Elias.
Stalin had his gulags, and North Korea has its dreaded labor camps.
What is with so many grown-ass men on the internet trying to get with underage girls these days? It's gross.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why anybody, like, maybe it's a small dick thing, too. Because I remember when I was 16... the first girl I lost my virginity to, I think was like 26 or 27. But then I tried fucking some girls who were like my age, like 16, 17. I literally couldn't fit my dick in. And it was 3 different girls. So I think dudes with like small dicks who know like older women sort of know what's up. They're like, I don't know, bigger, more filled out. And they have some sexual experience, so they can like compare your penis with another dude's penis. Like, I think they go after 16-year-olds because like some 16-year-old chick isn't going to be like, you have a small dick, when like the only penis they've ever seen is like their little brother's penis. So maybe some of it's, you know, that. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Every evil dictatorship has historically had a place to send any dissidents or perceived enemies of the state. And while many horror stories have circulated about the cruelty and brutality of North Korea's prison camps, exact details have been hard to confirm due to the secretive nature of the Hermit Kingdom. Yet as more North Koreans escape the brutal regime, never before heard details paint a grim picture of life inside one of the most hellish places on Earth. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Infographics Show. Today we're going to remind you to be grateful that you live a comfortable first world life as we enter to a labor camp, as computer ownership requires explicit permission from the government itself. And if you want to cruise the internet, you'll have to make do with a state-operated intranet. With internet access afforded only to government personnel, anyone caught circumventing this ban is going to earn themselves a one-way trip to the modern gulag. But don't worry, because you won't be lonely in your new prison home. And that's thanks to North Korean founder Kim Il-sung's belief that evil could only be expunged from a family if you punished 3 generations of that family. So if your dad gets sent to a prison camp, then you're going right along with him, along with your sister, mom, and any immediate family, even if you're the model North Korean citizen. Then if you have a child in prison, that child will live out his or her days in that prison as well. But what is life like inside the prison camps? And what do they do exactly? Well, as many dictators have found throughout history, locking up dissidents is a pretty okay solution, and executing them outright is even better. However, why just lock them up or kill them when you can capitalize on the free labor that a prison population affords? Stalin most famously put tens of thousands of gulag prisoners to work in the Soviet Union in a bid to modernize his nation. In fact, Soviet political prisoners built much of modern Russia's infrastructure, to include the famous Moscow Canal, which was built by 200,000 prisoners, many of which died from the extreme conditions. Today, you can even take a romantic cruise down the Moscow Canal, literally sailing over the buried remains of slaves and on waters tamed by pure human misery. Just the thing to really execute it. All in rats being a—
This video sucks.
Presentation of a collaboration with other people at QRI, including Chris Percy, co-author for this paper. Okay, so I'm going to be going through a lot of rigorous philosophy, but really, there's one core takeaway, which I'm going to highlight in several ways and give you several ways to develop an intuition pump, which is the connection between resonance and topology and how that may address a lot of philosophical questions in consciousness, which, if you take one thing from this presentation, just that, resonance and topology are related. We published this paper in Frontiers last year. It's called, Don't Forget the Boundary Problem, how EM field topology can address the overlooked cousin of the binding problem for consciousness. So just a very quick recap. The binding problem of consciousness is we're all made of atoms and forces. How is it possible that they can come together to form a unified experience. And our take is that if you start out with that ontology, it's impossible, that this is actually an unsolvable problem. Instead, what you need is a different ontology. Well, we start out with something like the universe is a gigantic field of consciousness. It's just one big thing. And then the question becomes, how do you get boundaries within that one big thing so that I am here, you're here, we're having all of these experiences? How do these kind of like intersubjective boundaries arise within something that start out as being kind of just one thing? We did a literature review on this question. It's not really well formalized in general, except for one particular author that I will explain. But famously, I would say like Schrodinger was a person who kind of like highlighted a lot of these problems. He's kind of like wondering like, why is it that, kind of like the phenomenal boundary of our experience happens at the level of humans, right? Like, why aren't we atoms? Why aren't we, like galaxies? Why are we here in this scale? It's very, very puzzling. Rosenberg really formalized it. He kind of like described it as the chasm between Celia and Charybdis. Formalized the boundary problem.
Boring. Let's see.
It is great to welcome to the program today Dr. Walter Willett, physician and epidemiologist and professor of epidemiology and nutrition at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. So great to have you on today. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
So I want to talk a little bit about diet and the concept of a healthy diet. There's been so much disagreement for so long about what constitutes a healthy diet. We've got food pyramids. We now have influencers on social media platforms saying you should eat no meat, you should eat all meat. Saturated fat is the problem. It's actually carbs, it's sugar, it's refined sugar, but sugar in fruit is fine. We've gone back and forth about the health effects of eggs. We've gone back and forth about the health effects of coffee. Because there's so much here, let me first just start with, is there any particular diet right now that has been studied to your satisfaction that we can say this is generally the healthiest way for most humans to eat?
Yeah, vegan diet.
I think we can come pretty close to that. I think it would be a little bit presumptuous to say this is absolutely the healthiest possible way to eat, but we actually have a lot of evidence. And of course, what we need where there's so much disagreement and discussion, we need data, we need evidence. And we now have a much more evidence than we did several decades ago. We have large cohort studies like we've been conducting now for 40 years. Other cohort studies have been started around the world. We have lots of randomized intervention trials looking at shorter term effects. So when we put that evidence together, we have a lot more confidence in what can be a healthy dietary pattern. And there's more than one way of eating in a healthy way. There's lots of ways to eat badly, though. So yes, we know quite a bit, and we can see very clearly who follow one of these general healthy dietary patterns live longer, have lower rates of cardiovascular disease, cognitive decline, cancer, many other.
Able donated $2. Are coffee and energy drinks bad for you? No. They can interfere with sleep, and you want to avoid taking things like coffee or energy drinks shortly before you go to bed, because even if you can get to sleep, it does still interfere with sleep quality. And if you have high blood pressure, they can exacerbate high blood pressure issues, but otherwise they're fine. Thanks for the donation, Abel.
Other adverse outcomes. So we have strong evidence that can point us in the right direction.
And what direction is that? What diet is that?
Right. I think at this point in time, we have the strongest evidence for something we might call a traditional Mediterranean diet. Partly some of the evidence comes from thousands of years of people following this kind of diet. And then more recently, we've studied this formally. And when people were consuming that kind of diet, say in Greece in the 1960s, they were living, men 4 years longer than Americans were, despite a very simple healthcare system. and a lot of things that we would say are necessary for a healthy life. And they were smoking at high rates at that point in time. Now we've looked at that healthy Mediterranean dietary pattern in our own studies. Other people have done so in various countries around the world, and very consistently, people are very healthy in many respects following that general dietary pattern.
Within that framework, which is a framework that I know a bunch of cardiologists, they all tell me the same thing. It's generally the diet that I sort of try to follow. Even within it, there are details that seem sort of nebulous to me. So I'll give you an example. Generically, I understand that the Mediterranean diet limits red meat, as an example. When I try to investigate, well, what does that really mean? Sometimes I will find that it can include up to 4 ounces of red meat per day, which seems like a lot to me. I eat red meat probably 2 or 3 times a month. Talk to us a little bit more about the details, like how much red meat would still be a Mediterranean diet whose health effects we would say are not a concern.
One of the key issues here that is an underlying principle in nutrition, where in general we live within a quite tight range for our total caloric intake. The issue is substitution. And if we're not going to eat so much red meat, then what do we eat instead? And that instead is very important, because if we replace red meat with potatoes or refined starches of other source, that won't necessarily be a good trade. It could even be.
Replacing red meat with potatoes is a very good trade. I don't know why you'd say potatoes.
Worse under some circumstances. But if we replace red meat with healthy protein sources like nuts, soy products, legumes, then we can see in our own studies and in randomized trials looking at blood cholesterol levels that is a good replacement. It doesn't have to be 100% replacement of red meat, but generally, like you say, a few times a month or about once a week is what we've used as a target. And it's hard to say exactly what amount is best, because when we look at, say, risk of diabetes, type 2 diabetes, we see basically a linear relationship with more red meat, higher risk. So where do you draw the line? And that's a common question in medicine, like for blood pressure, blood cholesterol levels. Where do we draw the line when we have a pretty continuous increasing risk? And we've looked, and the risk we can say is really quite low, with about 1 3 to 4 ounce serving a week.
A week, not a day. So that's critical. Once a week, 3 to 4 ounce serving.
Right, and I think that's a very good target. It is about what people were consuming, red meat plus.
You should be eating 0 meat of any kind. Not just for health, but, murdering animals is wrong. It's kind of annoying how these people come on and they don't mention that.
Poultry, actually, in the traditional Mediterranean diet back in the 1960s. So it may be a little bit more, a little bit less, but that's the ballpark right now. I think a good number to aim for.
Just to stick with red meat for.
If my voice works, I'll do some version of this probably, or some business for myself till the day I die. Death is retirement, right? But
why you use a ratchet ass Android phone instead of iOS? Just curious, only cause iPhones are objectively superior and get you way more bitches. You saying, bro?
iPhones suck ass. They make fewer improvements from generation to generation compared to Samsung phones. You have a very restricted list of apps that you have access to, and they're massively, massively overpriced. There's no way you can justify the price of these iPhones. They have a huge, gigantic fucking markup for no fucking reason, dude. And it's just because, these fucking dumbass twink pussies who want to be a trendy bitch who suck Apple's dick are just buying them because it's Apple. It's stupid. So fuck iPhones. Thanks for the donation, though, Caleb.
tight, scumbag, conservative piece of shit, right? I can't tell you 100% that won't happen. What do you do for a living now? This channel I do for fun, but I'm a podcaster. I have been since 2015. So I make my living doing this almost 10 years straight now. I don't have any opinions on Sam Hyde. Don't really know much about him.
For a moment, and if we get to things where your view is, that actually doesn't really matter, you're getting too nitty gritty, there is now a movement which you can find among these various influencers of questionable reputation and
Alan Wildsey, $20 facts law. Let me see.
Without an iPhone, it's not a gay.
Not a real gay without an iPhone.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
That is true. Thanks for the donation, Alan.
Qualifications, to be perfectly honest, who argue the problem is not really the red meat per se. It's two things.
I met TJ too. He made out with a guy at a meetup. That's pretty fucking weird. Imagine kissing TJ. Like, the guy is gross, probably smells bad. He has this fucking big nasty beard, smokes. Like, even if I was gay and I was into kissing dudes, that just wouldn't be a dude I'd want to kiss, you know?
Number one, those who have diets very high in red meat often also are eating high levels of processed foods, and those are really the problem. And or number two, fiber has a protective effect to counteract whatever problems red meat may bring, and often those who eat a lot of red meat don't get the right amount of fiber. Are either of those possible valid defenses of...
He didn't smell bad. He's super tall. Yeah, he's like 6'7" or something, right? He's pretty tall. Maybe he just wasn't smoking when he showed up, because like smokers always smell fucking horrific.
Red meat in your mind, or do they not really ring true?
Well, it's not one or the other. Again, we can have too much processed food and poorly processed food. Basically, the main issues are refinement of sugar cane to make sugar and then consuming it as sugar-sweetened beverages, the amounts of sugar.
Price isn't justified until you texting some queen and she stop responding cause her bubbles are green and smelly like dirty bubble from SpongeBob. Like, bro, let's be real, the point of having a phone is to text bitches. Who cares? You can't download all the hentai apps.
Yeah, I think if a girl finds out you have an iPhone just because...
It's great to have
just because Apple, she might think you're a bitch. Thanks for the donation, though, Caleb.
Are just so huge when we drink soda, or just refined starch itself. Most of the nutritional value from the grain is stripped away in refining grains to make white flour. Adding too much salt. Those are all refining or processing.
Delta Force is back. At the Summer Game Fest, we got to see some brand new gameplay running on Unreal Engine 5, and some people over in Los Angeles actually got to play this. This is exciting for a couple of different reasons. Recently, there's been a lot of discussion about how Battlefield has no real competition in its genre, but this game could be ticking some of those boxes for you, as it has large-scale warfare with many...
What the hell? An American soldier didn't kill a black family? This game's very unrealistic.
As it has large-scale warfare with many players, vehicles, and destruction. It's also bringing back this, Black Hawk Down. I'm sure many of the veteran gamers out there will remember how cool and gritty this was back in the day. And a third game mode too, which is an extraction shooter, blending elements of DMZ and Tarkov into the mix, all free to play. So let's take a look at the new stuff and find out what this is all about.
Revanced YouTube is on Android only. Enjoy your ads, iPhone losers. Tongue, I love freedom.
Yeah. there's just a wider degree of apps and freedom on Android. I don't like it's a fucking phone. I don't know what specific iOS apps you need for a phone. I'm sure there are some cases where somebody needs a particular iPhone app. But so few people are in that position. Like, I can understand getting an iPad because there are apps if you're doing artwork that are just objectively better than anything you can get on Android. That's why I have an iPad for drawing. But otherwise, yeah, why the fuck would you get a fucking iPhone? It's stupid. Thanks for the donation, though, Nonweb.
About. Also, a big thanks to the guys over there for sponsoring this one. There is an alpha test coming up in July, and the best way to access that is to wishlist the game on Steam or head over to their website and sign up. Links are down below. We're going to start then with Black Hawk Down. 2003, this game originally came out on PC. I was a sprightly teenager, loving all sorts of different shooters, and of course, this appealed massively to me at the time because it reminded me of the 2001 movie based off the real Battle of Mogadishu, which took place in October 1993. That movie had some insane actors in it, by the way. Josh Hartnett, Eric Bana, Ewan McGregor, Tom Hardy, Orlando Bloom, just to name a few. And the updated game here is actually affiliated with that movie, believe it or not. So in the new version, you're going to be able to relive that 1993 Mogadishu mission. 100 buildings, realistic squad-based operations with indoor-outdoor combat and nighttime battles. Arguably the coolest bit for me about this though is that it will have Hans Zimmer's original score on the soundtrack. It's pretty epic. Graphically too, environments, lighting look impressive
this game
here.
looks
Unreal
dope.
Engine 5 putting in some serious work as usual. Check this out too, if you've played the old Delta Force Black Hawk game, the footage here might look a little bit familiar, and that's because this map is based off Cracked from that game. Yeah, they've changed a couple bits here and there, added some cover to modernize it, but the general layout and vibe of the new map are inspired by the old one. That's nice to see. Next up is the Battlefield style component of the game called Havoc Warfare. I've not played this myself yet, so I can't give any real impressions of it, but based off the previews that I saw online, this game mode sounds very similar to Breakthrough, which was first introduced in Battlefield 1. They're describing this mode as full-scale warfare. That means that you'll be on large maps where one team attacks and one team defends. The attacking team has to capture sectors of the map in sequence, pushing the defenders further back until they reach the final objective. The defending team preventing that from happening by any means necessary, burning the enemy's tickets away. Vehicles will play a big part in this, and from all of the footage that I found online, I did manage to spot attack helicopters with gunner seats raining down pain from above, transport helicopters that look like Black Hawks with rocket pods on the side, tanks, they're the heavily armored high damage machines, APCs or LAVs for light fast maneuvering armor, attack boats, that's interesting, Humvees with mounted guns on them, and your usual transport vehicles like quad bikes, jeeps, etc. I'm not sure if they plan to have a conquest style game mode either, but that would be super cool to see. Destruction appears to be quite prevalent here too, which gets 2 thumbs up from me. In several of the clips you can see walls exploding, and in this clip we see a player use a rocket launcher to blow holes in walls and then the entire ceiling collapses. So it would appear that there are some emergent gameplay opportunities with the destruction. You could pick C4 in your loadout too, so I imagine that you'll be able to stick a couple of those bad boys on a quad bike and go kablamo if you so choose. As for the guns, it looks like many of the usual suspects you would come to expect.
Okay, that looked a little weird. There's no way an explosive device like this would be able to take out a tank.
Stick a couple of those bad boys on a quad bike and go kablamo if you so choose. As for the guns, it looks like many of the usual...
The fuck? 2 lasers? The fuck is this shit?
Suspects you would come to expect here. Pistols, SMG, shotgun, AR, snipers. I spotted a deagle in there too. They can be customized too. There's a little shot of the customization screen that I found here, and you can see many of the components of the gun can be swapped around and changed to fit your playstyle. I counted 17
It's funny how Desert Eagles are still such a big meme gun.
components on this particular M4A1. There's a bipod option on there too, which is intriguing, and it makes me wonder if you'll be able to mount up on a window or an obstacle for more accurate fire. And it looks like that the game has tuning for some attachments too, deciding exactly where you want that foregrip on the rail, for example, or adjusting the size of suppressors and barrels by the looks of it. People who love to tweak will probably enjoy
I don't know what the point of something like this is. Because ideally, unless you have some other accessories that are going to get in the way of a grip like this, you want the grip as far forward as possible where you can comfortably shoot. For recoil control, it's only if you have to put other accessories on, like a PEC or something, that you might have to, put the grip further back. Or if you're just like a short guy with like stubby arms and you can't like really reach that far.
Of it. People who love to tweak will probably enjoy this. In terms of who you'll be playing as, there are different classes or operators as they're called here: Assault, Engineer, Support and Recon. Sounds familiar, right? Well, they can use class-specific gadgets like smokes, drones, healing, scouting arrows, mines, bombs. You can see that in some of the footage here. Some of the gadgets do have a slightly futuristic look to them though, as a heads up, and I'm not sure how much flexibility you'll have within each class to swap this stuff out and mold each class to focus in on a specific task or role. So it would be nice to get some visibility on that soon in the playtest. Looking at the Havoc Warfare gameplay overall though from their trailers, it does look like Battlefield in a lot of the scenes. You've got combined arms, land, sea and air, a variety of different locations to fight in.
Battlefield has sucked dick for since Battlefield 1. Like, it's just been god awful. Battlefield 1 fucking sucked, fucking monkey fuck. What was the other one? Battlefield 5, that sucked monkey fuck. That was just god awful. 2040 whatever, that sucked dick. I don't know why they can't just make like another game like fucking Battlefield 3. That was the best Battlefield game they've made yet. They've just deliberately made shit fucking games.
In and around, chaotic infantry fights, ground troops attempting to take out tanks and air with rockets, destruction, stuff blowing up everywhere, team play, squad play. You've got that sniper fantasy potential too, right? We saw that.
Yeah, people have kept asking for another Bad Company game and they just won't fucking make it. They'll just make fucking garbage shit and then people keep asking for Bad Company and they just won't do it.
In a couple of the scenes, being able to hold a building, look out a window, and then maybe go up a ladder, get on a roof, put out some long-range satisfying sniper headshots. Perhaps a bit more arcadey. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm looking forward to finally trying this, as it's been on my radar for
kind of steps, but they aren't necessarily independent. It's not one or the other of red meat. So there's something to consuming too much processed food, but the best is where we keep processed food low and keep red meat low, relatively low as well. And it's, again, instead of red meat, eating whole foods that are healthy plant sources of foods.
The latest research I found to prepare for our conversation today on eggs and coffee, just because, again, they seem to be these sort of footballs that are thrown back and forth over periods of time, are, I'll give you my view as I understand it. Tell me what I'm understanding.